Hey everyone, it's Robert A. and thanks for going M.I.A. with us tonight. M.I.A. is a mental illness awareness group that is aimed to providing support for individuals who come online who may be struggling to sometimes get out of bed or find a place for support. Um, it is carving out a space online for us to be able to support one another through tough times and be able to give practical advice for daily lives in order to be able to experience a more fullness and happiness within our own lives.
What's up, everybody? So you need to realize that we are not clinicians, we are not doctors, and so we're not able to provide you with medical support. However, if you do need that kind of support, otherwise you have suicidal thoughts or any other thoughts that would cause you to be able to not live or experience everyday life, I need you to contact your local suicide prevention hotline and or your primary care physician. Make sure that you contact your primary care physician, and if you cannot get in contact with him, please contact your local emergency room in order to get the best help that you can. God bless.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tonight is actually a perfect segue into that because of the tool that we've chosen as a topic of tonight. If you're here, we really need you to get in the comments around the topic tonight, which is meditation. I'm going to share some things that I've experienced in meditation, and Clarence will share some of his experiences. But we really want to hear from you and give some ideas to some people that may be looking for some support around meditation. Because I don't know about you, Clarence, but I never really took meditation serious until like the last year of my life. My therapist a long time ago suggested it. Hey, Sam's here. Sam said, "Hey guys." Um,
What's up, Sam?
my therapist
Hey, my
suggested
man.
it.
So I'm on this. I'm supposed to be on a podcast where I'm the president of this new regime, or this old regime rather, and uh, Mr. Torres is online, so I need to make sure I get my contract from him. My mom, Bernadette, she's online. My cousin Lawrence is online. My member Evelyn is online. So God bless you. Y'all stick around as we talk about how beneficial it is to be able to meditate. Kimberly Pooty is online, so y'all stick around. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Robert.
Yeah, thank you guys for being online. Thank you for joining us. Clarence is streaming to Facebook, so he's welcoming all of the people that are streaming and joining with us on Facebook tonight. So welcome and thank you all for joining us as well. But what I was saying that meditation has been a real um, life changer for me, man, because I didn't take it serious, like I said, until like the past year. And I know you have some meditation tactics that you like to use as well, practical
Yeah.
ones, not ones that people think of, the mystic type of meditation that you do. And by the way, we do have some resources for you in the descriptions as we go through. So feel free to check those out. Amber said, "Hey everyone." Hey, oh, Beja's
What's up,
here.
Amber?
Beja. Hey, Beja. Beja says, "Good afternoon, everyone." So Clarence, um,
Good
and
evening,
thanks for
Beja.
being here, Beja. Clarence. So for me, one of my major meditation tactics is to go and be by myself. And I have my own process that I don't really want to share. But the importance of it is to be, in the space that
I
I
want
need to
you to
space.
share it. I want you to share. I want you to
No,
share.
because
I
it's
want you to
weird.
share.
It's really weird. It's really weird. I'm an eclectic kind of guy.
Ev-
Um,
Everybody out there, I know what his private space is.
don't tell anyone where it is. So
Okay.
what type of tactics do you like? What does meditation first do for you? Because for me, it just slows down my brain waves, dealing with the illness that I have, and really get some oxygen to my brain, and it really starts to like change the brain matter and how I'm thinking. Because I'm always in traumatic mode, just based on life experiences, and meditation for me helps to kind of back up from that, and be less reactionary. Let some feelings pass before I make a solid decision, because I try not to make a decision based on emotion. So those are the real benefits for me for meditation. What about you? Miss
Well,
Sasha says she's agree with that.
for me, meditation consists of a how can I say, an early morning or or gradual attempt at learning how to find my peace. And so a lot of people, so I have two children, you have kids, a lot of you have kids, and so we find our peace in moments where the kids are silent. And
Mm.
so for me, it's making it's making sure that I find my peace when, so I know my kids' schedule. And let me just share this. One of the things that I've learned about Chase and Coy is if I put them in my bed, they're going to sleep until times get better. They're going to sleep until until the morning comes. Like it'll be 1:30 p.m. the
Yeah.
next day, and I haven't seen one of them. Right, and so, but if they're sleeping in their own beds, I'll get up, maybe 30 minutes before, because Chase is going to wake up earlier, and so I'll get up 30 minutes before Chase, and as soon as Chase gets up, Coy comes out, and it's like, man, I'm on the money. And so I've
Mm.
learned how to manipulate my meditation.
It's an
And so
algorithm.
what it is definitely an
It's an
algorithm. And so
algorithm.
what I've done was I've said, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say Chase and Coy when I really know I need sleep. I'm gonna say Chase and Coy, go and sleep in my room. I
Mm.
know that for them it's a pleasure. For me, it's a sense of peace.
Right. No, that's
And so
interesting. That's an
I,
interesting way to find that
I'm
meditation.
satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm satisfying two conundrums. It's like, all right, how do I make sure that when I wake up, not right now, but when I wake up, I'm still able to enjoy my personal time. Chase and Coy, before you even go to bed, even now watch this, and I'm gonna be done. Watch this. Let's just say I tell them to go to bed earlier than they think they should be in bed. Now,
Mm.
everybody who's ever had kids know what I mean. Children think they should stay up all night, and so let's just say I tell them to go to bed earlier than they think they should go to bed. If I say Chase and Coy, go to bed and go and sleep in my room, oh, it's no fuss. If I say go to bed and go sleep in your room, I have a 30-minute dissertation debacle back and forth where I've got to, build my case as to why it's bedtime. But when I tell them to go sleep in my room, it's like, okay, daddy, like, fine.
Right.
And in 20 seconds, they're asleep. So I've learned how to master my peace and manipulate my peace by being able to manipulate my
So,
children in such
right.
a way that they will be able
That
to
you work the
support the
algorithm.
peace that I have. Yes,
Yes.
yes. It's like a global positioning system, a
Right.
GPS.
They getting started in the chats,
Yeah.
man. Jeanette's here. She said, "Hey, family." Ava said, "Kids can sense when your eyes are open in their sleep." And Jeanette said, "Kids can
Yes,
sense when your
yes,
dreams stop."
yes. I got a story later, Ava, that I want to share with you. But go ahead with the comment.
So yeah, that's it for now. I want you all to comment if you meditate or if you don't meditate, why you don't meditate. Like I said, before I actually got into it, I thought it was a big joke, and it was a complete waste of time. But really, and it's interesting to hear how Clarence meditates too, because see, I'm more of a hotter head, I guess, and I got to be able to stop myself in that moment, right? You can carve out those times of peace. Like sometimes in the moment, I have to create peace. So it's interesting that you shared that because I'm sure some people process the way you do. But it's even better to see how meditation can affect two different people in two totally different ways.
Right.
So I'm interested to hear Jeanette and everyone else that's here about what they do to meditate. But some practical tips that you can take are to, as you see with Clarence, it's all about finding peace with yourself. That's the biggest hurdle to meditating, and that's the real hurdle to all the talk around it being stupid and dumb and wasting my time. Really, is people can't sit with themselves. And it took me a while to realize like I can't sit with how many thoughts pass through my brain in 1 minute because it's so overwhelming, right? And meditation helps teach you which thoughts to entertain and which thoughts to give energy to.
Right. Right.
And so that's what
Right.
it's been most beneficial to me. Dr. Stephanie Akumani is here. She's going to be joining us live next week on our live about getting our bodies
Oh,
moving
stop!
and the importance of that. But she's here. She said, great conversation topic. It's like brushing your teeth, meditating. Yeah, it is. And I don't always, no, let me not make that joke. But I, I make the time to
You don't
meditate
always what,
each
yo?
and every
No,
day.
wait.
No, because, no, we ain't. Dr. Akumani says if you don't do it, you'll feel the consequences, and that's the truth because I do every day when I miss, like if I skip out on meditating, uh, it's a bad day for me. Did you want to comment before I go on with Tiffany's comment?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So welcome. Thank you for joining us, Tiffany. She said, when I do and have time to meditate, I love to go near water. I've been known to find the nearest lake,
Oh,
beach, etc. to find that peace. Um, yeah, I like to be near water too. And in fact, I need to get near some water really soon because there's something powerful about water being held back by the sand, and that really helps me to get into a deep meditation as well. And so,
when she says that, really, real quick, let me jump in here. Is it Tiffany?
yeah, Tiffany,
When Tiffany says that, I'm reminded of a book that I read in
I told you
seminary
you was gonna
called
do
The
this.
Aquatic God. Huh?
I told you you were gonna do this. Tiffany, make sure he gives you the reference for this book. Make sure whatever he references you right now, Tiffany, that he follows up in the comments with this reference. Go ahead.
It reminds me of a book I read some time ago called The Aquatic Gospel.
Hmm.
And in this book, The Aquatic Gospel, it talks about how Jesus Christ is of the Aquarian zodiac and or symbol,
Hmm.
and how that he uses water to effecate and or push his message.
Hmm.
And so you have instances where in which Jesus uses water, simply water, to make miracles. And if you remember, the first miracle wrought at a wedding in Cana of Galilee
Get to the point.
was okay. And so yeah,
Thank you.
water
We got
water
other
is a
comments. Uh, Stephanie said mindfulness is a lifestyle. Expound on that for me, Stephanie, in the comments because I know what you mean, but not a lot of people know about mindfulness, and I want them to hear from you. She said meditation is one practice. Get it in. Tiffany said also love to sit outside and even lay in the sun to meditate. Yeah, that's important too. Getting that vitamin. What is that? D or C? D from the earth, the
I
sun.
think it's deep from the sun, yeah.
I ain't past science, but yeah, that's important. I know I get it. Ashley said I have tried in the workplace. My students meditate twice a day during the school day to reset in the morning when they first come in and after lunch. It's hard to make your brain stay focused. That's interesting that they meditate that much in school. Twice a day. That's good though. That's probably gonna have some
Right,
proven results. Like I want to see what that looks like.
right. Some
Sitting
studies
some
on
kids
that.
down to meditate.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I'm sure it would definitely help in the areas in which we teach.
for sure. If they could buy into it, that's something to really think about and talk about. Meditation and especially in underprivileged schools. Jeanette said, I don't typically sit still and meditate. When I take a shower, I play calming music or sort of zone out. Not sure if that's actual meditation. Um, Meditation is just focused thought. It's focusing and channeling your thought and
Yeah.
energy into one thing, and right in that moment is probably self care for you. So that's definitely a type of a meditation. What do you think, Clarence?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that there's a resource I think that we shared from healthyjourneys.com.
Mm-hmm. Oh
I think
yeah,
we
it's in
did.
the descriptions. It's in the descriptions.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a resource that I'm going to reference quite often that I've used in my own research and in my own study on the human mind and psychology and meditation specifically. But there's a research study that in healthyjourney.com that suggests that meditation is really just guided imagery,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so one of the things that the scholars have said about meditation is what you do is so your mind is automatically wired, and you're going to cut me off. I'm not cut me off, but let me know when I've gone too far. But your mind is automatically wired to wander, and so as it is that you're meditating, whether you're doing yoga or any other resource, your mind is automatically wired to wander because you have all these other things that you're thinking about. And so guided imagery is when you're able to bring back that thought that you were supposed to have. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you're thinking about the laundry, or when you're thinking about the
Right.
children have, soccer practice, while you're meditating, you have to capture that thought, bring it
Bring it
back,
back. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and say, no, I don't, forget the kids, forget the
Mm-hmm.
laundry. Right now, in this 15 minutes, in this however long, I am focusing on centering myself in order to be mindful of the fact that I'm breathing, mindful of the fact that I'm still
Mm-hmm.
alive and able to do the things that I'm responsible for. And so that's all I wanted to just kind of plug in, that like meditation is not just capturing your thoughts, it's being able to bring that thought back,
Back.
that
Yeah.
one thought that you're
Absolutely.
not supposed to have, and tell it, wait a minute, you don't. This is not your turn. It's my turn. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's great because that really brings into the topic of mindfulness, and it's really just that: it's giving your full mind to one thing,
Right.
right? And it's whether you're taking a shower or if you are, you know, imagining your future, right? Or if you're focusing on this particular area in your life for 15 minutes a day, or if you're just focusing on your breathing. It's whatever you choose as a focus, teaching your brain to make your mind fully focused on that one thing. Because as a
Right.
society, we've become so diverted. We pride ourselves in multitasking, and that can actually be as much of a detriment as it could be a skill, because it
Right.
teaches you not to give your mind fully to one thing at any point. And so meditation is a way to help bring you back to the point where you can put your mind fully on one thing. Like one practice I have, and my kids don't always like it, but I I don't let them talk to me if I have something going on, like I'm working on something. And I used to be the parent where I would lend the and
Hmm.
I'm not really
Hmm.
listening, right? And so
Hmm.
really,
But I'm being respectful. I'm being courteous. Yeah.
I'm teaching something. I'm teaching, this is more important than what you're saying. What I rather teach is I need you to wait because what you're saying is important and I want to give you my full mind. But right now I have to give this my full mind. And so
Yeah.
sometimes, they don't, they feel it, but, um, I think for me it's a better way as opposed to lending that partial attention. And that's the way I really try to reinforce in my daily life how to be more mindful as well, which is a type of meditation, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely. Like, I mean, that's so good that you say it, because I'm learning that even now with my kids, and mine are only what, a year each younger than yours.
mm,
And so I'm learning that, Chase or Coy, when I'm on the phone, or when you can visibly see that I'm working on something, I can't just pour you a cup of juice at
right.
this very moment.
Right.
you know,
Right.
I would love to, but I can't. And I've even gotten into the habit, and you guys will probably scold me, but I've even gotten into the habit of telling them I am not your butler.
Mm,
And so what they'll do is they'll ask me for something, whatever it is. Daddy, can I have another piece of whatever? And I'll say yes. And while it is that I'm going to fetch it, as in my normal custom, they'll wander and saunter off in another direction. And as if to say, I've already placed my order,
mm-hmm.
and now
It should be
Gerson,
fulfilled.
the the butler, is now going to bring it to me, and I'm going to enjoy it, and then he's going to come again and clean it up. And I have to remind them, I pay for everything in here. And so we need to come to an agreement. And so I understand that, in that I had to even be able, in a very tangible way, teach my children that there are times where daddy is just not available.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not available for another juice. I'm not available for you to ask me another question. I am working. And if you and so let me end on this. My daughter now says to me, she is bothered by the fact that I work so much, and so she'll say to me, "Well, Daddy, you're always working." And because she has a very trained mind, I will hit her back with, "Well, if I don't work, how would your iPad work?
Mm-hmm.
If Daddy doesn't work, how would you be able to ask me to purchase another?"
Clarence, I think we lost him, but he'll be back shortly. While we wait for him, we're gonna get back into the comments. I see you all talk. Oh, there you are. Are you back?
I don't know.
Yeah, we can hear you now. See you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you went out for a second, but cool, you're back now. They were talking about this water. Stephanie said water is healing. Um, Nasasha said that that is interesting because Tiffany is an Aquarius. So they were talking about that. Ashley said meditation is also used outside of the classroom as an alternative to typical consequences, i.e., school police, etc., which is kind of relevant to current topics of the moment, i.e., defund police. And since you're in education still, you can take that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, she said two things. She said defund police and school reform. Was it?
Just that they use meditation as an outside of classroom alternative for consequences. Instead of like having school police and things like that in the school, they use meditation. And she was saying like it's kind of relevant, I guess, of a topic in the moment with everything going on.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a new school of thought that suggests that social workers are to be trained police officers as well, and or training
That's
police
crazy.
officers as social workers.
That's crazy.
And the school of thought around that is this: if some calls that the police department receives is not necessarily requisite of a police officer showing up. Some calls is a domestic dispute between two people, whether it be a partner and a
Hmm.
spouse or a parent and a child. And so if a police officer shows up, it suggests that somebody did something wrong. Somebody broke the law. Well, the school of thought is suggesting as we move into this new normal, the school of thought is suggesting, well, maybe we should send out a social worker based
Hmm.
upon the level of threat. And so if we send out a social worker to an instance where a mother can't get a daughter to come home, but she knows where the daughter is, we
Right.
could send out a police officer and a social worker, where the social worker, the police officer is able to pull rank as if to say, if there's a problem, I can handle it. But the social worker is able to communicate with the child and say, hey, you need to come home. Your mother is not mad at you because you ran away, but rather she's upset because she doesn't know where you are. And so I understand that new school of thought because if you could keep sending out, like for example, when you think about the Rashad Brooks instance, uh, he would sleep in a parking lot, I mean, excuse me, at a drive-through. And so, had you sent out a resource officer to get him to pull over or to drive him home, maybe he will still be alive today. We don't know. But
Hmm.
if we invest those kinds of funds into that kind of thinking, I think that that would be apropos to our new social order. And so, with all that being said, I agree with the fact that defunding the police and putting that money into another area is important.
Like meditation in school. That's what she was
Well,
relating it to.
yeah, but I think that meditation in the school is just a part of it. Yes, we need to do that, but if we just meditate in the school and then one of the kids really have a major issue and you have to call another resource, how do you handle that? if you just meditate. I mean, yeah, meditating.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I
I,
get it.
yeah.
Amber said meditation is like minimalism, like valuing the one thought or valuing the concept of less is more.
Ah,
That's an interesting.
I like that.
That's an interesting take on it. And really, I guess I never really use it that way. In the way of valuing the concept of less is more. Um, Simply because of how I'm wired. But maybe I'll try to take on that perspective a bit more when I'm meditating. Kay Smith was
I
talking
like it.
about.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I like that thought. Yeah, I was saying I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, Kay Smith was saying, "Fetch it." That's all us parents do, which is when you were talking about the kids, um, which is even more reason to find time to meditate. Are there any comments in the Facebook group? I don't want to ignore them.
I don't see anything yet, but I'm
Okay.
staying close to it.
Cool. So, some other topics. Again, I think we went through all the comments. Again, comment some of the ways that you meditate or some of the struggles that you have with meditation, or if you even use meditation or barriers that keep you from using meditation. Again, just
Comment some of the ways you meditate
kind
or
of
some of
something coming through.
I think. Yeah, I think it's a C there. Okay, there we go.
So, one of the I guess barriers for meditation for me was, like I said at first, it took something really hard in my life to come in my life to make me really sit with myself, um, and that's when I finally was able to appreciate, I guess, the value of meditation. Before that, um, it seemed to be a waste of time, so I guess it even takes some work to even get up to the point of meditation. So what has that been like the case for you, or is it something that you can just easily snap into?
No, I can't. I can now, but I
Hmm.
could not initially.
Like even
Now
knowing that
I
it's
know how to.
beneficial and knowing that it'll
Yeah,
help shift. Like there was still a barrier for me.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I can't now. I mean, I can now, but I could not before,
mm,
and that was the hardest thing. It caused me a lot of damage in my life too. I think if I had learned how to steal away and just kind of collect myself and my thoughts, I would have made different decisions in my past. But because I was so hot headed and did not know how to manage my own emotions,
mm,
I just I just kind of made rash decisions based upon the moment. And had I, learned the art of taking a moment. And what was crazy was one of my uncles had shared with me once about mindfulness when I had first started pastoring, and I did not understand what he was saying. And one of the things he just said, one of the simplest things he said was, he said, just breathe in for 10 minutes with your mouth closed and breathe out for 15, I mean, excuse me, for 10
10
seconds with
minutes.
your mouth
Gee.
closed. Yeah, you would die. Breathe in for 10 seconds with your mouth closed and breathe out for 15 seconds with your mouth open. And even that for me was hard.
Hmm.
Like, I'm like, I don't want to do that because I felt like that was taking away my power from the situation. Um, and so, yeah, I would agree.
Well,
Like, it took
yeah. I
me a
mean,
minute to learn.
but think about that though. Think about how easy it is for your brain to tell your arm to lift up, right? But how hard
Yeah,
it is for you to
yeah,
even control your breathing to that degree to say, I'm going
yeah.
to breathe in this way, I'm going to breathe out this way. And
And that
because you go
it
through
seems
life,
so long. Like,
yeah, and because you go through life like not controlling that muscle for so long, it seems so hard when you originally try it to even like control how long
yeah,
you breathe in and out, and then you feel your whole body adjusting to that conscious choice all of a sudden, and it really puts things in perspective for me for other areas of my life, seeing that because when you said that struck me because that was one of my struggles like wow, I can make my body do a lot of things, but to make it breathe in for 6 seconds and out for eight, and then one pause, and then that's a really hard task for me to do
Yeah,
over and
it's
over.
a
I can
lot.
bang some
Like,
push-ups out. Like, you want me to get some push-ups in,
yeah,
some sit like I'll bang them out. But
I handle that.
if
Right.
you ask me to breathe controllably, it's like an
That's a
actual
chore that
task.
I'm not willing. Yeah, I'm not able to accomplish. Unfortunately.
Yeah. And so it's interesting that someone else didn't have that barrier. In fact, Amber said, "I say a barrier for me is time, but really it's an excuse because we make time for what matters." And yeah, for me, Amber, listen, for
Yeah.
me to get my meditation in, I have to wake up at 4 a.m. every day. Every day,
Wow.
I have to wake up at 4 a.m. to be able to get what I need um, to be able to perform during the day. So I get not having time because I used to really feel that way until I felt I needed to make some time for that. So even if you carve out 10 extra minutes, you wake up 10 minutes earlier than what you normally do. It'll benefit you throughout the day in an exponential
Right.
way. And it'll be hard to give up that 10 minutes because you'll even know that it has results, but it's still a sacrifice, but it's worth that sacrifice. Ver-
Absolutely. It is.
Vermont, go ahead.
No, I was.
Uh,
It is. I've learned that you get up before. One of the things I've said to myself is, as a man of my house, and I'm not trying to be chauvinistic, but as a man of my house, I've got to. My feet must be on the floor before everybody else's,
mhm.
and so I do that not only because I got to set the day for them, but I need to set the day for me.
Right, right.
I need to make sure that I'm set before I try to set somebody else. And so, yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, for sure. Veronica, welcome back, Veronica. She said, I feel like I don't know how to meditate or trust that it will work. That is a barrier for me. And that was a barrier for me too, trusting that it will work. But really, what you are trusting is that you can focus your mind on one thing. And that's what you have to work towards. Trusting the fact that you can put your full mind and your full attention on one thing. And thoughts are
Mm-hmm.
going to pop into your head. And that is something that I always tell people because it's important to know that you can't control what thoughts pop into your head. You can control what thoughts you give your attention to, what thoughts you lend
Right.
your mind
Precisely.
to. And so being mindful is choosing to focus on this one thing. And as thoughts pop in, you acknowledge them and then you get back to focusing on what you were intending to focus on.
Yeah.
As if you heard a bark in the yard, you would acknowledge there's a dog, and then you would get right back to what you're doing. And so I think you'll find some benefit in that if you can get over that hurdle with some
Absolutely.
meditation.
Let
Jeanette,
me share this
go
real
ahead.
quick, bro. When I was in a freshman, it wasn't freshman comp. What's that class you take when you're a freshman? They're acclimating you
They
to the
try to
college
teach you to
experience.
university, yeah. Yeah, it's I
What
forgot.
is it called?
I
You
think
remember
it's
that
something
class?
different at each
Like
university, but
college
it's
skills or
indoctrination
something.
101.
Yeah, something they call it. Like every school calls it something different, but it's that class you take as a
Mm-hmm.
freshman in your freshman year that you got to learn how to study and learn how to take notes and all that crazy stuff. The only thing that I took from that class, and it was so many years ago now, but the only thing I took from that class is they said when you're studying, and I take this to heart now when I'm meditating. They said when you're studying and something pops in your mind, the laundry, getting the dog groomed,
Mm-hmm.
whatever else, studying for the next test. They say, and I've tried it and it works. They say while you're studying the thing that you're studying, write whatever it is that popped in your mind in somewhere in a notebook, in the corner of in the margin of where you're studying. Write it out of your mind,
Mm.
and you're able to continue in what you're doing because you have acknowledged the thing,
Mm-hmm.
given it credit, and now the thing is like, all right, you
I can
heard
get
me,
back to that.
and
Right.
you're able to, and
That's
it works
powerful. That's powerful.
like bruh. I'm telling you, if I ain't learned nothing else from that class, that works. Like, if you take and write that thing out of your mind onto a sheet of paper, you good. Now you know, get the shirt dry cleaned or mow the
Right.
lawn or whatever. It's out your mind. So I encourage you guys to try it.
Who you become when you turn the hat backwards? Is it Pastor Jack's frontward or backwards? Because you done it a couple of times. I'll be
No,
like,
this
who
is
he
Pastor Jack
transform
times
into?
two.
Okay, that's
No,
2.0, and frontward
oh, oh,
is regular.
this way, this way is Reverend Jackson.
Got you.
This is that's
Jeanette
Pastor Jack.
Jeanette says, I participated in mindfulness trainings and meditation groups. I can't bring myself to keep my eyes closed. It feels weird. Not sure what that means or if it's just my meditation style. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Especially, no, it's most weird when you're around other people. It's like, because somebody don't have their eyes closed. Even as a pastor, I'll say, with all heads bowed and all eyes closed. And, granted, I expect to be the only eye open at that point. I'll open my eyes to just scan the room, and it's a good 5 to 7 to 10 to 15 people that's like, yeah. And it's usually the ones that's like, yeah, I don't trust closing my eyes because somebody might rob me. And so I'm going to keep my eyes open. But, Jeanette, I feel you. It is kind of weird when you tell everybody to close their eyes, and it's like, nah, I'm not closing my eyes. Somebody might do something. Yeah,
Right.
I trust you.
That's funny.
On that.
There's a medical or actually a professional term called radical acceptance, and that's the part of meditation that you have to acknowledge in that moment. Believe me, I've been through some traumatic things, and I don't even like when people touch me with my eyes closed. So I don't want my eyes closed for a lot of things. But there's a thing called radical acceptance where you accept the fact that honestly, whether my eyes are open or closed, it's really not going to make a difference right now where I am in this given space. And when you can relinquish that control over yourself and over your thoughts and over, the thought that you have to protect yourself and over, whatever it is, it becomes more normal to do, and that weird feeling goes away. But it's definitely something that you got to work at to go away. Albany said our summer school PD, which is professional development, always requires us to meditate or have a mindful moment before we begin with journaling. I always struggle with the quietness of the moment and end up scribbling pictures instead of actually using the moment. I'm not sure why I'm so resistant to actually fully participating. If I were in that PD,
that is so common.
If I were in that PD, yeah, that's very common. If I were in that PD, I mean, it could be, tons of things. It could be anxiety. That actually could be your way of meditating. Just taking a moment to do a mindless activity, which is scribbling. You may not be the expressive of words. If you ask me to draw a picture, I'm probably gonna leave the room. I'm gonna get upset. If you ask me to write something, I'm gonna want everybody to come sit down because it's the most important thing that we need to do. So don't S on your process. I don't want to say the word, but don't crap on your process. Maybe that's what you need to prepare for what you're about to go into. And giving your mind fully to just a scribble at it in a moment might be what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to acknowledge Sam, and I want to acknowledge Dr. Sebastian, R. Sebastian Brown, a PhD in, I think, literature, and he is quite established. So we're hoping that he acknowledges us in the chat. But there are some comments, bro, where in which they're asking, they like the term radical acceptance, but they want you to further expound upon what you mean or what the, I guess, technical definition or whatever of radical acceptance means.
Okay, great. And thank you for mentioning it and thank you for bringing it up. I'm actually working on some resources personally that are going to help better understand the terms. I think in our language. I'm not sure what your demographics are, but I'm sure if you're somewhere around my age gap or some type of lineage culture crossing. I think it'll be beneficial. But I'll put some references to it in the description. So once this video is over, come back to the description, and there'll be some links to radical acceptance and what that means and what it actually looks like. practically in your life.
Yeah, yeah. And so make sure that you come back to the prescription, even all of the things that I've referenced that Robert is going
They'll
to
be there.
have to that Robert's going to have to throw in there. And so, and as we have Sam and others and Dr. Brown on the line, I'm sure they're going to reference some things that I'm not thinking of. And so, all of those things are going to be plugged into the chat once the live is over. So, check us out again. Thank you
Yeah,
for
and
the
thank
question.
you all for joining us on Facebook. This is our first time streaming to Facebook. We're streaming to 2 different platforms. So thank you for being the pioneer group of that and really growing us. Ava says that meditation is science and research based. We trust other forms of science like doctors and a dentist, but in the black community, it wasn't a thing. It was laughed at, so it's hard to take seriously.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You
Yeah.
know, meditation is not only hard to take seriously, coupled with mental health support. You
Mm-hmm.
know, in the black community, um, and I must admit that it took an act of Congress to get me to go to a therapist some 10 years ago. I wasn't going for no reason. You couldn't buy me, you know. And so now I swear by it, even though I help, help to
Mm-hmm.
guide others in what we call pastoral counseling. I'm wise enough to know that there are some issues as a pastoral counselor, I just can't help with.
Right.
I must refer to a clinician, and I'm quick to say, hey, I have a friend that I think you should talk to, and not to upset or disrespect, but because my goal is to make sure that you get the help that you
That you need.
need.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and so I'm all for that. And so, even if what we're saying doesn't help you, if you just reach out and say, hey, Rob, Pastor, I need somebody to talk to that's not y'all. We got people.
Mm-hmm.
We have persons that you're able to speak with in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such an important part, and important conversation, man. Because seriously, man, if we have a problem with our heart, we're going to the doctors. If we have a problem with the gout in our foot, we're going to the doctors. You know, and hopefully, but
Right.
we've been socially taught, to ignore the conditions of our mind. And so meditation is like Stephanie said in the beginning. It really is like brushing your teeth. It's a part of that morning self-care routine that you have to do to reset yourself and really take charge of your day and not allow your day to just start happening to you. Amber says,
And
"Do
I
you?"
like how she says brushing your teeth because, real quick, I like how she
Mm-hmm,
says brushing your teeth because if you don't brush your teeth, that can create other issues in your life.
mm-hmm. There
You know
you
what I
go.
mean?
Yep.
And so, and we're not gonna get into that. You can just imagine what issues that can create not brushing your teeth for a day. Um, and so, imagine for those of us who understand and appreciate the joys of meditation. Um, and so, imagine not meditating in the morning. You don't brush teeth, you don't meditate. You snapping on people that don't even deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Somebody one of my clients was sharing with me today that she was snapping on the baby, 9 month old. The baby, touched something that the baby not supposed to touch, and she mad with the baby. And I said to her, a baby gonna do what a baby gonna do, like a lion's gonna do what a lion's gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so you're not mad with the baby, you mad with yourself.
Right.
And so, there's instances where, not meditating or failing to take that moment of self reflection can really mess up your day. It really
Yeah.
can.
Absolutely. Amber said, "Do you all find value in healing circles? It's different than meditation since meditation is done alone." Um, it's personally not my thing, simply because of how I process. Not that there's anything wrong with it, simply just because of how I process, and you know other factors as well. But I definitely think it brings healing to people who heal by having support having physical support, rearing them. I think it's something that is healing for someone who processes grief that way specifically, but other things as well. What do you think, Clarence? I saw you shaking your head that yes.
I, and I love you, bro, and I very seldom do this, but I totally and completely disagree with
Good.
what you just said. Not that I'm trying
Good.
to.
Tell me why.
Lord have mercy, I'm going to have to hear about this for the next 2 years. Okay, listen. Here's why. A healing circle is no more than a testimonial service,
Okay.
where in which each person is allowed to come up and share what they've been through. It's no more than an AA meeting, an NA meeting, whatever else meeting.
Hmm.
This is a
That's what I was
healing.
thinking
This
of.
is a
Yeah.
healing. Yeah, this is a healing circle, right?
Hmm.
Where in which we have people from different thoughts and different life experiences coming in and sharing their and imagine us saying to God forbid Jeanette or Amber or one of the other ladies or whomever, oh, you're wrong. Oh no, what no, what? You don't know what I've been through, Pastor. And now you
Hmm.
know what? I'm gonna send you a nasty gram because you don't know what I've been through. And so I think this is a healing circle. I think that when you go to church and you have those little meetings, AANA and or prayer service or testimonial service, I think that all of them can be synonymous with healing circles. It's an opportunity for me to share what I've been through without you saying you wrong. No, you don't know what I've been through. And so I agree with this young lady who says this is a healing circle because, or it is akin to a healing circle because, in fact, it is. In fact, it is.
I can see. I didn't see it as that way, but I guess you're right for the first time. So congratulations on that. And I do find value in a healing circle. This is a healing circle. This is a healing circle that we participate in and we facilitate, but we often benefit from as well. At least I know I do. Being here and being able to converse with everyone. So I didn't cut
What
you
does
off. I didn't cut you off.
no,
I didn't
no,
cut you off. So I do, Amber. I do find value in healing circles. It is different than meditation, but it is a form of mindfulness and being able to testify and being able to relieve yourself of some burden. So we appreciate that comment. Ashley
Yeah,
said,
no, 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 no,
the
no, 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 no,
What's up?
no, 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 no. All right.
What's up?
I'm sorry for the next commenter or commentee, but I must say this: you're not just going to drive past my one and only victory like it was a drive-by at night in the abyss.
Okay.
No,
Well,
sir. You're
okay.
going to properly acknowledge the fact that finally Pastor Jack, with his nonsensical gospel and theology, has debunked the author. No, no, I'm not done. I didn't cut you off. Has effectively debunked the author, the writer, the producer, the president, the CEO, the
You're
chancellor
such a jerk. You're such
of
a
all.
jerk. You're such a jerk. Ashley said the organization that works with my school is called Holistic Life Foundation. Because of the trauma you are speaking of, we are taught to not force them to close their eyes during meditation. Oh wow, yeah, and I'm glad somebody was mindful of that, mindful enough of that. Because as a kid, I probably wouldn't either. Like you said in church, when they say everybody bow their man, no, I'm trying to figure out who grandmother I'm about to steal some candy from. Because her eyes closed like she don't. So I'm glad that they cater to
So
that. And that,
you want peppermint and what is it and honey? What is that joke
Worthingers,
called? That
Worthingers.
joke, the butterscotch joke.
Yeah, yeah. Worthingers, I think they call it something like that. And so actually that's a good point because meditation, some people could just pick a point like in the distance and focus on that point as they process their thoughts. And that's a form of practicing meditation as well. So looking out in the distance and just picking something to focus on, when you aren't comfortable to close your eyes, but you still need to regulate that breathing, um, is something that's good. K. Smith said, "Where two or three are gathered together," talking about that, your little situation. Amber's laughing, and the comments have died down. So I guess everybody has shared how they feel about meditation. As a closing thought, I would like. What you laughing at?
I'm laughing because whenever I get a slight accolade, you drive by it.
We acknowledged it.
I want my roses while I can smell them.
Clarence, a commenter commented, and I did not find that the comment suited me personally in my life.
Right.
However,
okay.
You've enlightened me to a new way of being.
No. Please carry on. Please endeavor
Right.
forward
So
in your
please
trajectory.
make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join us each week at 7:30. Our t-shirts Go M.I.A. can be ordered. There's a link in the descriptions to order yourself a t-shirt. They still have the coupon codes. If you remember them from our previous live, you still are able to use them because of technical difficulties that we have been having. In the meantime, until next week, please remember to find some time to meditate, even if you have to pick 10 minutes prior to waking up each day. Find some time to regulate that breathing and get your thoughts together, and be sure that you can spend some time with you. That's a major part of your self-care, and I want you to really be intentional about it this week because I want to discuss it opening up next week. Be sure to take advantage of the links that are in the description that will help you throughout the week. These are not things that we just grab. We do research to make sure that these are vetted things that are going to benefit and be relevant to us, and things that we even use ourselves. So make this man. I was reading a comment. Jeanette said, "Give the man his roses, Rob." And so that's what I was reading. She threw me off.
Thank you, man.
Ava said, "Have a good rest of the week, everyone. Thanks, guys. Thank you all for being. Don't thank us. We're just doing, what we feel the community and we needed, which is a conversation, a place to really be honest and really to bring about healing and really find some real steps to bring about progression. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you back next week going M.I.A. with us. Until then, take care.
God bless you.